to the home of fear.
Okay, this is going way too far.
Lights on, no toying around. And let the fun begin.
Hello and welcome to another vlog on the channel, and today we are back at Alton Towers for Scarefest. And yeah, I know it's a bit late getting this video out because literally as of the time of recording, Halloween Day was yesterday. But thankfully this year, Alton Towers have actually decided to extend the opening days for Scarefest until the 3rd of November. So basically, by the time you're watching this video, it'll be the final day of Scarefest. But I'm glad they've extended the event till a few days beyond Halloween. And yeah, I'm interested to see how this year's Scarefest will have improved from last year. Well, one thing that has improved is they've brought back the hearse, which I'm so glad that they've done, because the hearse was completely absent from last year's event, and it seems that they've actually modded the hearse up. Yeah, which looks really cool. But yeah, the main things that we'll be doing for Scarefest today, we'll be experiencing the brand new scare maze for this year, Compounds, and also hopefully getting back in the scare zone, which was introduced new for last year, Burial Grounds. So yeah, the first ride we'll be heading towards is Hex, which recently reopened here at the park, and when we get there I'll show you what that's like. So as parts of Alton Towers' staggered opening hours with certain attractions, Hex doesn't actually open until 11 AM. But at the moment it's 20 past 10, so during that time before Hex opens we're hopefully going to get on 13 and Rita. Now both rides are open at the moment. Rita's only actually just recently reopened after an extended period of downtime. So we're going to try and get on this first, and then after that we'll get on 13, and then we'll see when we've come off the rides.
You're going to have to buy one, and what I'm buying you is sponsored by Nemesis.
Come on.
So just had a ride on both rides in Dark Forest, 13 and Rita. Now 13 were really good. Both rides actually had surprisingly short wait times. 13 were on 5 minutes and Rita were on 15 minutes. Now operations with 13 were really good. Got out of the train pretty quickly as soon as we sat in. Really good ride overall. Good family coaster. Best part is still, after all these years, the drop track. And after that we did Rita. This is the third launch coaster I've done in the last 7 days, and it's still a really good ride. Out of the 3 I've done in the last week, it's my least favourite. My favourite's Stealth, second favourite Manual Mayhem, but it's still a really good ride. That launch is by far the best part of the rides, that forceful launch. It's not as forceful as Stealth's launch, but it's still pretty good. So yeah, it's nearly 10 to 11, and Hex is basically almost ready to open. So we'll pretty much be heading there next, and I'll show you what it's like in like the queue line and whatnot for Hex. So I just got back on Hex for the first time in nearly 2 years because it's been closed that long. I'm glad that the ride's back open. I'm glad that it's not just shut like it has been all year and last year. But in terms of like the new stuff they've added, really, if you've been on the original version of Hex, it's not really much different. All they've done is just added a new lighting package and some new effects. Now there are some pretty good things to come out of it, like the pyrotechnics effects at the pre-show was pretty cool. They also added some new lighting effects and smoke effects on the actual ride system itself, where it looks like the machine is actually powering stuff for the fallen branch. That look cool, although they did kind of make the fallen branch look like a Christmas tree, which I'm not really sure why they did that, but they did it anyway. Probably the worst part of this whole reimagining, if you could call it that, is the disco lights at the end of the ride. Why did you add disco lights at the end of Hex? Like, it literally just, it just takes away from the experience. Like, the whole build up to that finale bit was so good, and it was building up to be like really, really cool with all like the new effects of the adders, and then they just had to turn on those disco lights. Like, why? It doesn't even feel like I'm in a sealed vault with a cursed branch. It feels like I'm in a rave or a disco somewhere. But yeah, overall, it's pretty much the same as it was before. The new effects that they've added don't really add much to the ride experience, but oh well, at least Hex is back open, I suppose. But yeah, at least it's not closed. At least it's actually back open. I'm glad they've reopened it, even though there's only like a week left of the season. So just had a ride on Wickerman, and yeah, it was a really good ride. But although when we were actually queuing up for it, there was a bit of a delay getting in because the ride went down probably like a temporary delay. Don't know what it was, but prior to that there was a point where the queue was not moving, even though they were sending trains full of people around the track like they would normally. And then there was a point where the announcements went off saying Wickerman has ceased operation, and they started sending empty trains around for a bit. But thankfully, after a while, they reopened it and the queue started moving normally again. We got on the ride, and yeah, it was a great ride. We got on the 8th row, so a lot of whip over those drops and things like that, and yeah, I got a lot of that time with Wickerman. I love it. So we're heading towards Katanga Canyon now to hopefully get on Runaway Mine Train. So I'll see you when I've done that.
One more time. Choo choo.
So I just rode the Runaway Mine Train here in Katanga Canyon. Good little ride. That's actually, I think that's the 3rd Mack Rides roller coaster I've done in the last 7 days. The other 2 were Flying Fish and Hyperia, both at Thorpe Park. Yeah, it's actually pretty cool to see the amount of range that Mack Rides have with their roller coasters. Because one minute they can do something quite fun for the whole family, like Runaway Mine Train, and then the next minute they can build something for white knuckle thrill seekers like Hyperia. So yeah, this is a really good ride. I'm so glad I still have it after all these years. But now we're heading towards the Curse Outlet Manor. Now, when we were queuing up for Wickerman, the app did say that Curse was shut, but whether it's reopened since then, I don't know. We'll find out in a minute. So thankfully, Curse Outlet Manor has actually reopened. Yeah, it's got quite a long queue. It's currently, well, I say long, but it's on a 15-minute wait. So we're going to go through the main queue line of Curse Outlet Manor, and I will see you when we've come out of the ride. So we just rode the Curse Outlet Manor, and that was a good ride. But what I've noticed is that some of the effects weren't working. It weren't many effects, but it was like a couple of effects in the attic scene. And also, and I'm pretty sure it was like this the last time, the Tromble Tunnel was not working again. I'm pretty sure it was just stuck stationary last time I came here, or it was definitely at some point earlier this year, but the Tromble Tunnel was not working. Now whether they're going to get that fixed now that there's only like maybe a week left of the season, I don't know. It'll probably be like that for the rest of the season, but who knows. But either way, apart from that, Curse Outlet Manor, good ride as usual. And now we're heading towards Forbidden Valley to get on rides like Nemesis Reborn, and I'll see you when we get there. So just through here is the entrance of the scare maze that we'll be doing later, Compounds. Now this is the brand new maze for this season, and is part of the whole Phalanx storyline that's taking place within Forbidden Valley. And yeah, I'm really looking forward to doing this maze. It looks so cool. I've heard good things about it. And it's I've heard it's very similar to survival games at Thorpe Park, with it being like a multi-route experience, and you get split up from your group, from what I've heard. So yeah, I'm really looking forward to doing that later, in a couple of hours. But for now, and towards Forbidden Valley, and I'll see you when we get there. but it's 1 hour 33. It's a documentary in Lego / musical. Oh, there's some good names in it. You're gonna like it, man. So I just rode Nemesis Reborn over here, and that was an absolutely fantastic ride. I keep saying it, I've been saying it all year, I absolutely love what they've done with the whole of this ride, and obviously to ride, but also all of Forbidden Valley as well. Like, Nemesis is still one of the most intense roller coasters I've ever done. Like, the amount of high G-force you get on this thing, especially during the inversions, is nuts. Like, there's nothing like it in this country. This is definitely the best Nemesis attraction in the UK. Definitely, I can confidently say that. Yeah, that was absolutely brilliant. So I just rode a Smiler here at Alton Towers, and that was actually a really fun ride on the Smiler. Honestly, I still love this ride to bits. Even though Hyperia is my number one, I don't love the Smiler any less than I did before. Yeah, it's still not definitely my favourite coaster at Alton Towers. And getting through the queue was actually quite good as well. Like, normally the ride access pass queue for the Smiler, it normally takes ages to get through the queue into the station. You know, we're on literally through the queue quite quickly. The queue's been quite good today. Apart from Wickerman, we've gotten through the queues of pretty much all the rides quite quickly. So I've actually got to see that's quite pretty much a change for Alton Towers up in terms of operations this year, because they've had pretty poor operations all year. So to see the queues are moving quite quickly and ride availability being decent, apart from like one temporary delay earlier, it's actually quite pretty good. So yeah, it's literally just going 3 o'clock right now, so that means that compounds as well as all the other scare mazes at Scarefest are going to be opening soon. So we'll head straight to Gloomywood to go and experience compounds, the brand new scare maze for this year. And when we get there, I'll show you what it's like. So here we go, up into compound. This is the brand new scare maze for this year, and I'm so excited for this. This looks absolutely phenomenal. So I just went through compound, which is the brand new scare maze for this year, and honestly that surpassed my expectations. Like, I mean, yeah, like when you're actually queuing up to go in there, theming on the outside ain't great, but when you step in, it is so heavily themed in there. It's very similar to survival games. Even the start is similar. Like, you get sent into these individual, like, sort of, well, in survival games they'd be cages, but in this maze they're like sort of full on like holding cells. It's very well themed in pretty much the whole maze. Yeah, and then obviously you get the split up. It's multiple route as well, and the actors do sort of manhandle you in this one. It is like survival games, but a lot better themed. Yeah, it was really amazing in there, and the actors did such a terrific job at what they did. Like, there was some really cool like costumes in there they were wearing. There were ones that literally looked like full-on alien creatures, and there were the phalanx guards. It was absolutely amazing. Well done to Alton Towers for that, mate. That was brilliant. So we just had a re-ride on the Cursed Alton Manor, and thankfully some of the effects that were not working earlier in the attic scene were actually now back up and running, which is what I like to see. And we were about to come here for a ride on Oblivion, but unfortunately it's closed, which is a shame because I was really looking forward to getting on Oblivion today. But unfortunately it's closed, so we're going to have to try and find something else to do. We are going to be here up until the point when Burial Grounds opens, which is not for another hour yet, so we're going to have to occupy our time with other things to do. But unfortunately we can't go on Oblivion because it's closed. So whilst Oblivion remains closed, and it was testing empty trains for a bit, Spinball Wizard has actually reopened. It's been down much of the day, but it has just reopened, thankfully. So we're heading there now. Yeah, and I'll see you when we've got off the ride. So I just rode Spinball Wizard just here. Pretty good rides. Obviously, like I said in one of my previous vlogs at Chessington World Adventures, I do prefer Dragon's Fury out of the two Maura spinning coasters. That was still a pretty good ride. I'm actually glad that we got to go on it because I didn't think it was going to be operating today because it's been closed most of the day and it only opened like a short while ago. But yeah, it's still half an hour until Burial Grounds opens. So I think I'm gonna see you when Burial Grounds does open. So it'll be a little bit before I film anything again. But until then, I will see you when Burial Grounds opens for the day. So we're heading towards Burial Grounds and there's already a queue forming for it. But yeah, it's about 13 minutes until they officially open. But when we get in, I will film the whole experience for you because it's pretty scared though. And that means I can take my phone in with you to film the experience for you guys. So yeah, it's going to be really good.
Probably the first.
We are the Unchosen.
So just experienced burial grounds here at Alton Towers Scarefest, and that is a pretty good scare zone. I really enjoyed it. I think I actually preferred that run through that I did just then compared to when I did it last year, for two reasons mainly. One, it's going dark. Last year when I did it, it was still broad daylight, so that made the experience a lot more immersive. And two, we were actually at the front of the batch that was sent through, because they send through batches in this scare zone, so it's not just a really long conga line, and we got all the scares first before anyone else did, which was really cool, and I actually really enjoyed that scare zone. And yeah, that is it for our day here at Alton Towers Scarefest. I mean, as for Scarefest itself, the event still could see some improvements. Like, it is pretty much like giving off same sort of energy as last year, which ain't bad, but it could have. I was expecting maybe more, like maybe a couple, you know, with the success of burial grounds last year, you'd think they would have added maybe 1 or 2 more scare zones and not just brought back Altonville Mine Tours in the attic, but they did anyway. So it could have been better, but overall it was decent. I do still prefer Friday Nights at Fort Park though, by a country mile easily. And in terms of ride availability, it's not actually been that bad today. Apart from Oblivion being closed when we wanted to go on it, and Wickerman having a slight delay earlier, ride availability has been alright, which is a shock this year, because ride availability this year has been rubbish. So yeah, it was a pretty good day today. Next time we'll be at Alton Towers will actually be next week for fireworks, so stay tuned for that. And I want to thank you all very much for watching this video, and if you enjoyed it then please make sure to like and subscribe, and comment if you would like to see the next video. Goodbye.